here we go. It is game number 2 for the King of the Hill. Sharp took down Hero in the previous one and is now in the top middle of Ascension. His opponent down at the bottom left, it's Snow.
Yeah. Ascension is, I mean, this is a great map. I feel like, I don't know, what was the name of the map that this was sort of based off of? I've always had a bad memory with map names. Was it Blade Storm?
Blue Storm.
Blue Storm, thank you. Blade Storm's like Jet's ability in Valorant, sorry.
Blade Storm was a Twilight tile set map as well.
Oh, was? Okay, all right, so I didn't just pull that out of the thin air. But I've always been interested on these maps where you have this little nook that you can't really get much through.
To be fair, they widened it so you can even fit ultras through there. It's just like single file.
Okay. But yeah, let's see what kind of game we're gonna have here from Snow. I mean, Snow's always been, I think, not always been, but he's been a very scary PV tier. I mean, this guy really seems to just kind of understand how to, you know, take the Terran by the throat and slam them to the ground and just stop whatever they're doing. Like, it's really impressive.
Yeah. Snow is pretty badass at PvT. Like, his Reavers are so unbelievably fearsome. And the thing is, the Reaver, like, does everything against Terran, especially when Snow's doing it. It harasses, forces defense, it slows down their third base, it stops all the different cheeses. It's just like the ultimate unit.
It really impresses me what Snow can do with it, because the Reaver, first of all, the Reaver and the Shuttle, both of them are actually extremely clunky units. The Shuttle, if you don't get speed, it's not quick to move. The Reaver can miss shots. It also sometimes just won't fire in certain situations. And, you know, one of the things is, if you're as active as Snow is on the map with Reavers, it's crazy, because if you lose the Shuttle and the Reaver at the highest levels, you pretty much have lost the game, especially early on. And so what he's able to do with it and pull off with it and not lose it and continue to develop on the game is just astounding to me.
Yeah, it's just a very high skill unit, I think, the Reaver, where it's like, yeah, it's hard to make it work right, but once you can, you're like amazing. It's kind of like SCVs. Like, Flash can make his SCVs do whatever the hell he wants, and that's part of the reason why he can do what he wants, right? Like, same with Snow and his Reavers. By the way, taking a look at these builds, so it's a Zealot first, and Snow hasn't scouted, so the Zealot's actually going the wrong direction. But from Sharp, it's an extremely fast factory. So I think he's going a quick starport with this. And this could catch Snow a little. Oh, no, it's a second factory. And the placement of that factory makes me wonder. I think he's going to float that over. I think he's going to go mines, and he's going to float that over and just try to be a little bit cheeky with that.
Yeah, this is smart. This was used, it's been used in the past, but I mean, we've casted a decent amount of StarCraft 1. Modern StarCraft 1. I feel like I haven't casted this happen in a long time, but yeah. Basically this creates the illusion from the Protoss' perspective that that the Terran is trying to expand and just drive away the Zealot and the Dragoon, when in reality, you know, when this factory slides out, it can go right by the Dragoons and the Zealots that are trying to put pressure on. And, you know, Protoss needs to expand pretty quickly, and unlike Terran, they don't actually have a lot of units as far as numbers go, because they're only producing from a gateway, where the Terran produces from the barracks, as well as the factory, and can sometimes use SCVs. So, like, what you see outside the Terran's base is really what the Protoss has. So if a Vulture floats out, and it looks like this is going to happen now, you can go right by their Dragoon into their main and start killing workers, or even laying mines for when they try to return home.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about a build like this. When you get that factory right there and it's mine based, you actually are needing the Protoss to be good in a lot of ways, because you need them to be out of position with some units, whereas like a bad player might just sit everything at home. This will just die to that.
Yeah, like, don't try this at F rank or E rank, honestly.
No. Like, even at B rank, you're gonna find a lot of Protosses that have like 5 goons at home, and then you run up there with like Vulture Marine, you're like, oh no, I guess that doesn't do anything. But here it's like, right, he just got a couple kills on units. He does have a siege tank. Honestly, I think Snow's gonna be completely fine here. I don't think this is going to do very much.
Yeah, well, Snow's got the right idea. He's making 3 gates. He's walling himself off. And the problem for Terran when you do this is you've lost production time with the float, which wouldn't seem like a lot, but it really is, because Terran has to grind the game to an end when they do 2 factory. And so he's just plugging the entrance up.
Yeah.
Dragoons.
Did you see how he canceled the pylon and restarted there? That's so important.
Really smart.
I was going to say, because if he lets it finish, that gives Sharp an opportunity to set up perfectly outside. But here he just targets down the observatory. And he's starting to lay down some mines. This is pretty nice. Look at this. He forces him back. Snow's additional 2 gates were very, very late here. They started after the robo was already done. So he definitely wasn't planning on this until he figured out what was going on.
Yeah, the 1 observer's out. These eggs make it a little bit awkward to try to squeeze out of. But it's not over yet for Protoss. I mean, he made a lot of probes. He's slowly chipping away at the units that are on the outside here. And if he can maybe get another round of Dragoons and pop out, he might be able to do a push. He's going to come through here. He's going to target down that first tank. Oh
my God, I can't believe he saved that tank. That is just crazy. Sharp might actually be able to do something here. If he gets that bunker up, that is gigantic. He does have 1 Marine left to put into it. Oh, his tank glitching out behind the Marine. Okay, here we go. The Marine gets in. The goons coming around. They almost sniped the tank. They don't quite get it.
How is that only a 3 HP?
God. Okay, he finally will pick that off. But look, the bunker, putting that additional damage on. He's going to lay more mines here as well. Sharp's command center is natural, almost done. And it looks like he's going to break this. Oh, my God. This was crazy.
Yeah, this is really impressive.
I can't believe he's actually going to break this base.
All right, now this was a risky move here by Sharp to try to run by. And he's not going to get that much value out of this. In fact, 1 probe can just bite that vulture and kill it. And so the Nexus has been lost. Now we don't have this ticker in Brood War, so I actually don't know where the workers are at, but I believe the Protoss should be still ahead in probes, I think.
Oh yeah, I think you're probably right about that. He did lose a few during the battle, but oh, he just picked off the siege tank, by the way.
Yeah.
But you're right. This is actually very similar to an SCV Marine pull. But a little bit better for Sharp, right? Like, if you think of SCV Marine pulls against Nexus first, it's kind of similar, where it's like, okay, the Protoss is not completely dead here, but it is a bit better for Sharp, that's for sure. Like, he has a starport that he just made. His natural is now up. He doesn't have a lot of units. He actually, the only ways for him to be active are vultures running around, and he actually kind of should turtle here pretty heavily.
Yeah, I'm always interested in how really good players play when they're in bad positions. You know, I mean, it's cool to see how somebody stays ahead an entire game, but, you know, Protoss can absolutely still win this game, but advantage Terran for sure right now, especially with that extra base that he's got, and he's got that mining here. Now, Snow is doing what, in my opinion, is probably the most logical play post 2 factory attack, which is to go for Reavers, because the eBay is late. Terran is particularly strained at taking a 3rd base after a 2 factory, even if it works. It's kind of a weird way the game works tempo wise. It's true actually for Protoss versus Zerg too. If Protoss is some kind of 1 base thing into an expansion a little bit later on, the 3rd is also kind of oddly late. So the idea is that if they are to expand, you'd kill them with shuttles outright. But also, the Reaver is kind of good at just fighting with the Protoss's army against kind of chunky 2-base Terran armies.
Yeah, that's definitely very true. And just forcing them to turtle a little bit more and having that tool at your disposal. I agree. I think it's fantastic. You should. That's always what I'm afraid of, right? I've done a lot of 2 facts in my day, and the Reaver follow-up is the most annoying one to deal with. And the fact that he's double expanded here, kind of utilizing that high probe count that you talked about. Snow is. I feel like Snow is doing the right things to get himself right back into this game.
I can't confirm it yet because of the way the client in-game works, but I have to imagine that shuttle speed is being upgraded.
Probably.
I mean, shuttle speed, and we should probably talk about this a little bit, because this was an evolution that happened inside the matchup. Over about the last, 16 months, was the popularity of mass shuttles. And you're dropping zealots, you're making reavers, and then you go into storm. And traditionally we would say the most standard PvT is to go for arbiters, or you can try to sneak out carriers, right? And so kind of incorporating this into the game has been, I think, a headache for Terrans, honestly. It's a very different way to play, and you can't just try to hope that you can EMP the Arbiter.
Yeah. Speed shuttles are super trendy now. And the thing is, Snow got him a lot before he was very hipster about it, but definitely it's much more popular now. And actually, Tasteless, I didn't get to talk to you yet, but within the last 2 days, a new style has emerged of mass speed shuttle.
Double robo?
Yeah, double robo, but it's with Reaver damage upgrade.
What?
Yes, it is. It's kind of crazy. I played against it one time today, but literally Scan told me about it yesterday, and then I hit it today. So it's
you
definitely
gotta send me that replay. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if Snow is going to end up doing that. I think this position doesn't necessarily lend itself to that play.
I think you're probably right about that. I don't think Snow can do that. That seems to be something you have to set up and have a kind of a passive game early on, to where you can then switch into that tech. A quick question though. So what would the damage upgrade do specifically to help? Does it one shot like a Goliath now, or how does that?
It just you want more damage in the main base, right? Like if you're dropping out mass Zealot and mass Reaver, so like damage upgrade plus Zealots attacking, like you're gonna kill tanks so quickly and stuff like that.
This was some of the most beautiful Reaver control ever. Basically, what Snow's so good at is knowing how long it takes in between shots for a tank to fire, and he'll put a Dragoon out there. It'll fire. He'll unload, fire the Reavers, and pick them back up.
Man, look at this.
Oh God, go ahead.
No, it's just a great counter drop there. Snow's Reaver does fantastically, but Sharp now with a dropship in the main base actually gets a fair amount of probes. He's causing lost mining time. It's well microed. Unfortunately for him, he's going to lose the dropship, but that was pretty solid as well. These guys really just headbutting each other over and over this game.
Yeah, this is yes, they are headbutting each other, Artosis. No, this is a pretty
crazy.
Find
something wrong with that statement, Tasteless?
Well, it's just like you guys, a back and forth of headbutts is so funny. Just two completely destroyed faces, just skulls smashing into each other.
Well, dude, that's what we see.
It's like that ending fight in Ninja Scroll, but they're both doing it to each other.
Look at that. The Reaver's getting even more hits here. Oh my God, finally gets the shuttle, but the Reaver's getting absolutely maximum damage. Craziness. How did that Reaver live?
The Reaver lives. That's wild. And
dude, he slows everything down so much with Reavers. It's actually madness. Taking your third base against Snow, it's like literally something I don't even ever want to try, you know?
Oh, no, I mean, it's crazy. And, this is tough for the Protoss. A lot of Protosses will just kind of overextend and die. And he just seems to have a very good handle on, like, what he can get away with. Like, he can look at a Terran army, and, looking at a Terran setup and trying to figure out if you can bust it or not is, like, pretty tricky. And, like, he's just got the gift where he can look at it and say, no, if I come in exactly at this moment, I can pull this off. And I think Snow may have enough now to trample the third base, because I think Zealot's speed's about to finish.
I think Sharp will... Oh, well, he just lost fucking 4 Vultures to 1 Zealot. So, yeah, I guess he's in trouble now. But, oh, no, he targets that down pretty well. No Zealot speed. Oh, Sharp is all right. That was kind of brutal with the Vultures. I was going to say, like, his spread looked really strong. He has +1 and all that. So, Sharp seems like he's going to end up holding on to this. He does have a Vulture out on the map, kind of patrolling around, looking for additional bases. Snow continuing to pick off anything he can up front. And this is, seriously, this is a slugfest for sure.
Oh, this is some pretty impressive stuff here coming out of Snow. Now, it doesn't look like this base is going to be busted. This depot here, even the barracks kind of floating. It's funny when you have tanks far back enough. It's hard with the AI to get them to commit to go through. And so I think this game is going to now go on for much longer. Because Terran isn't close to maxing out. Protoss is getting Arbiters, but this was a delayed Arbiter opening because we had the shuttle and the Reavers. And so it's not like a recall is around the corner here. So it's going to be up to the Protoss now to try to take as much of the map as possible and probably start to put gateways in the other spawn. That's really the play, I think, for Protoss here.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to just kind of macro from here. Sharp has defended everything well enough. It doesn't seem like he's going to die anytime soon. He's getting up to a nice, healthy factory count. It looks like it's just going to be a nice big macro game, which is really quite nice considering it started with a 2-fac that like wrecked a Nexus.
Well, here's something I'm worried about is that Protoss doesn't actually have +1 armor or attack or anything. He started at the Forge, but already for Terran, +1's done, and he's got 2 armories producing here. So that basically means that he is going to... Terran's going to have a much better army in the long run. And, you know, the Protoss's Arbiters were delayed, so there's going to be, like, maybe 1 stasis. But I think if Terran can push out and take a 4th, I think Terran may be in a slightly superior position.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to, like, when he's going to be able to take that 4th. Because Snow right now, he is taking his own 5th. Coming up, and, oh, man, those Reavers, you don't expect it. But, of course, from Snow, you should. The fact that he has he just barely gets away with those vultures. I thought he was going to hit those scarabs, but Snow is like the only Protoss on Earth that uses Reavers like he loses his Reavers and he's like, I need 2 more Reavers.
Yeah, he just keeps making Reavers.
16 minutes in, I need 2 more Reavers.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Protosses will, like, after the Reavers are gone, like, it's just whatever, that part of the game is over, but not with Snow. Now, we've got... the other natural and soon to be the other main being taken here. This is very important because Terran's gonna have a hard time knowing where to push.
Yeah, on Ascension, generally what you're gonna want to do is a giant push up onto the high ground above their 3rd. If you can push into that location, you can deny the gates from their main and also kill 2 bases. Because the 3rd and 4th base are both like right off there. You can basically siege from the high ground to kill them. So that's the area that we should see Sharp pushing for on this map.
So we're seeing these Dragoons just, Snow's so on top of this, just clearing mines. It's so much work to do, but he's pulling it off really nicely here and just kind of keeping the Terran matted down. But here comes the big push. +2 attack, I have to imagine armor is going to finish in a second here. Whereas Protoss has the +1 attack, and I believe only has 1 Forge, unless I can't find it somewhere else on the map. But this is going to be a huge moment here for Terran.
Yeah, he's got the Arbiter out now, Tasteless. He's got Psystorm as well. He's got the 2 Reavers in the mid. Look at this spread that Snow is making in the map. He has a ton of Zealots down to the bottom. Snow pulling back right now. These Psystorms going to be crucial. Where are the Psystorms? He doesn't get any storms off of his 2 Eye Templars.
Oh, there's a lot of Zealots coming up here from the bottom, Artosis. The Reavers are being microed pretty beautifully here. And the Arbiter's going to come back in here. We could have a stasis. I don't see an EMP coming out here yet. He goes for the D-Web instead. It's immediately shut down here. And, you know, there might just barely be enough Dragoons. No, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Sometimes you have just the right number of Dragoons that you don't have to respect the tanks. You know what I'm talking about? But definitely there was enough there that he's going to have to back up and start making more Zealots.
Yeah, his tank line was just deep enough that he was able to save all that, which is important. If he hadn't, that would have been game. If he lost all these tanks in the center, you're not going to come back from that against a now 6-base Protoss as Snow takes the bottom right main. Sharp rallying out a lot more units right now. He is on 8 factories. He's actually floating his main command center down to take his 4th base, which is really nice. You can kind of see that he is a little bit tight on money because the 2-1 upgrades are done against just +1. He has a couple vessels out. No energy for EMP at the moment. Meanwhile, Snow still trying to clear the mines.
Yeah,
Sharp does not have quite enough to attack right now.
I think what's, excuse me, what's more important here is that Terran keeps the 4th base and takes the 5th at the bottom left. You can, if you get up to 5 bases, like it's kind of, for the Terran at least, it's kind of insane how long the game can go on for. We talk about TVT as statistically the longest matchup, but occasionally PVT is the longest matchup because you can just get so far there, and that might be happening here. But first of all, Terran, a big push here from the Protoss, but a little bit of a disjointed one. He doesn't quite have enough to really break through this. And again, only +2 attack here. And I mean, I know that the armor upgrades for Protoss against like siege tank damage isn't that great, but it is something, okay? It does do something for you. So, I mean, I don't even see +3 attack being made at the one forge, and I don't know, I feel like this is not the first time I've seen this happen to Snow. It's one of the weird things is sometimes his upgrades fall off because he's so good at cutting corners with everything else.
Yeah. I would agree that's kind of his MO. If you're going to tech this much, the forges are definitely an afterthought.
Yeah.
Well, he's still microing really heavily in the center. He still has these Reavers. They're up to 22 kills total, which is ridiculous for Reavers that came in a game at 16 minutes. But here he is pushing forward. The probe transfer going to be partially caught here, which is always nice. But Snow is maxed out right now.
Right.
So he should be able to take a reasonable fight if Sharp is not very, very careful.
Yeah, basically.
You see him using Cloaked Reaver to push forward. Do you see this?
It's crazy, man. It's wild. Like, he's really done such an insane job here. Terran's stretched out pretty far, but he's not actually damaging anything. I'm going to zoom out real big here. I mean, Terran's got presence, but isn't actually hitting anywhere. But Terran is taking this base in the top right. Looks like this may get denied up here, though. Terran always have this problem, and it's funny the way the game works, because it's true in StarCraft 2 as well, is like, it's kind of impossible for Terran to get out of their, like, quadrant on the map. Good save with the Arbiter there, too. But this is going to be a tough one here. If Snow doesn't push out and start smashing these bases, it is scary. Even though Protoss has so much, you really want to keep Terran down on expansions.
Yeah, 4 bases you can kind of do as you please, but he's going to be running out of his natural soon, so we do need Sharp to get another base pretty soon. Snow just lost a bunch of units at top right that he had killed that base with, but he's trying to attack up onto the high ground here of Sharp. I don't know. Like, I think he's just going to end up losing this army. Sharp can... Like, he has enough units that it shouldn't be able to break down, and then he just needs to bring his tanks over to clear it.
It's kind of a weird concept. I sort of get what Snow's trying to do. He's just trying to clear areas on the map so he can start to set up flanks later on. So I think he realizes, like, yeah, I can't really go in there, can I? I better just, like, try to move somewhere else, you know, onto the map.
Yeah, and Sharp actually mostly leaves it alone, but here he comes. He has quite a few High Templars in here that Sharp is trying his best to pick off. Does get a couple of them, but losing a bunch of his vultures here. And Snow has a very good bank. He's got a lot of gates at that bottom right main base as well. He's doing a fantastic job, but I think Sharp is, like, he's still definitely in it. He needs to push into a 5th base very soon.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try to push into this. I'm kind of surprised that he's attacking up here, to be totally honest with you. I think a recall or maybe hallucination and a recall would be a better play. Because he's trying to, like, force it, you know what I'm saying? And I think that you're almost playing into the Terran's hand at that point in time. He's going to shimmy his goons over here, and I do like this, because he might be able to, like, kill the gas or maybe even get the command center if you do it right. Yeah,
he's just trying to be as annoying as he possibly can be. He's sending another group of units up to the top right as well. Sharp going to catch that group very, very quickly with his beautiful 3-2 upgrades and clear that out. And I think Sharp might sweep down the right side of the map.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I think he's going to be slightly too disjointed though.
Like, I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm very nervous for him right now. He's floating a command center over there, but the units he has over there, if you bring Snow's entire army to bear on the top right, you're gonna kill everything Sharp has there. And if Sharp loses half of his army, he's done.
So these Reaver shots here are pretty insane, man. Like, the problem right now for the Terran, again, is he hasn't actually stopped the Protoss in any way as far as growth goes. And really the way this matchup works is you got to kind of stop the Protoss, right? The Protoss can keep grabbing bases and counterattacking you. You're just trying to stifle growth on the map here. And, you know, we're seeing a push down here, but I think with Snow's Reaver control, he's just going to kind of juke and jive with the Reaver and just pick this off over time. And again, he's so good at this. Look at that. He cleans that side up with ease.
That's a fresh Reaver, by the way. Still making Reavers at 24 minutes.
Well, he's one of the few guys that can really multitask with Reavers the entire game. It's crazy.
Yeah. And look at this, a Sharp having to pull back as he loses that group of units, but he's got that new base in the top right, which is so important. But now we're at the point where Sharp is spread so far across. It's just, the map is huge. I'm way zoomed out right now, taking a look at it. Arbiters are going to be really hard to deal with at this point.
Yeah, and that stasis is really good there by Snow. He's gonna be able to start to pick off these tanks. Great storm there. Ooh. Sometimes the vultures are the way to go with Psystorm. You know what I mean? Just storm whatever you can get.
Well, especially when you have a 4.7k mineral bank as Snow, right? Because if you can kill off the vultures, your zealots are going to be so much more worthwhile. And it has been kind of vulture light the way that these two have been fighting. Snow continues to have like a 5k bank against a Sharp that has similar supply, but no extra money, basically.
Yeah, this is, well, here's the one thing I think Terran could do to maybe win this, is if Terran can push the bottom right spawn, like this area that he's pushing into now, if he can push the natural and then a little bit south of that, I think that Protoss might suddenly dry up economically.
Oh, yeah, that's, if he can kill those bases, I think you're actually right. That would be like the way to victory.
Yeah. We just had, I'm sorry, I don't know if it was a recall, I might have missed it, but there's a bunch of Protoss stuff suddenly behind the Terran's army.
Must have been,
it must have been a recall. I don't see the Arbiter there now, but...
And that's going to allow him to actually flank into this army that's trying to kill that, his 5th base. And he is going to be able to clear that. So that, I mean, that was a great move by Snow, really. That did 2 different things for him. Saved this base and slowed down Sharp's own 5th.
Yeah, this
now,
is...
Sharp is, he's in a rough spot right now, Tasteless. He's like barely mining.
Yeah, this is really just this mineral only. He's going to float another CC over here. He's actually using the command center that's from his main, but he needs to get over here and basically start to set up shop in this top right corner. If not there, then the center left. But he's got to do this somewhere, and he's got to do it quickly. So he's chased the Protoss back. This is kind of an awkward area to fight for the Protoss, this top right area. It's just like there's a lot of narrow areas. Protoss really want to fight on open fields where they can get nice surrounds and hit hard and turn around. There's also the possibility here that we have the Protoss try to do another recall into the main and just try to completely disrupt infrastructure because Terran is so far out with their army that like you just basically can't get back to your main.
No, that would be like an optimal move right now. You're definitely right about that. That's the type of thing, it would take so long for him to clean it up that that might win the game even for Snow if he gets a recall in the main base. Now, Snow's still running around the middle. Sharp trying to get those EMPs off, but the stasis a little bit too quick. Bringing up more of his siege tanks. Sharp supply falling dangerously low right now. I think Snow is about to finish him off.
Yeah, this might just actually be too much. I love the stasis on the vessels. It's funny. It really makes Terran have to do scans constantly, which interrupts their ability to micro and macro and all that stuff. Keep in mind, every tank that's lost is really a good measurement for, you know, how much longer the Terran can last, right? I mean, gas is not an infinite resource in this game, and cleaning that up is just so extremely important. And I'm worried that the next wave here, Artosis, is going to be the one that actually topples him here.
Yeah, it definitely does look that way. Snow is not going to slow down, not yet. He did lose some probes at the right-hand side, but his bank is really helping out. He's at 5k for a long time now, down to about 2, but that means he's still max. He's up 100 supply, and that is not holdable for Terran.
Yeah, this is getting pretty scary, especially when Protoss is still maxed out like this. Even if you don't see a lot of armies in the fight, it means that all these gateways are going to have units spilling out of them. Now, hold up here. The one thing that Terran has is this base in the top, and oh my god, it's like, it ends how it starts with perfect Reaver control here from Snow. He's so insane. And he's just stopping the mining. If Terran can mine from here, the game goes on. But if Protoss can interrupt it in any way, and the speed shuttles are a perfectly acceptable way to play that, it's tough.
Man, it's crazy to see Snow. Like, I know we keep talking about it, but the fact that he's still microing Reavers 30 minutes into the game, and he's used them non-stop throughout. It's like, wow, it's such a different player that we're watching here.
Yeah, from the pro.
And,
Sorry, go ahead.
Just the harassment of that, the fact that it's still sitting there makes him submit tanks to that location, and like, Sharp is so spread. Literally, the next attack kills him.
You know, it's funny. PvT from the Protoss' perspective is maybe the most macro-intensive matchup in the game. Sometimes ZVP can be like that for the Zerg, but like it really is insane how many bases you're taking, and you really have to be doing so many things at once. So yeah, when you see him microing GG, when you see him microing a Reaver like with speed during all that, it's insane because it means he's doing that much more stuff all at the same time. Just wild.